Alright, guys, let's talk about my worst of the year list. This year was kind of like the opposite of what's happened in recent years, where I feel like every year my best year list gets stronger, which is the same with this year. But my worst year of the year list got a little bit longer this year, surprisingly. And I was very shocked by that because, like I said, I've been enjoying more movies. It's become a thing. Before we get into this, I feel like in movie spaces to say movies are getting worse. If you are only watching big Hollywood movies, I see how you could feel that. A lot of them are really generic and kind of bland lately. But I really don't understand feeling that way majority of the time because there is so much good stuff all the time, and I feel like if you're talking like that, you're just not watching enough movies, bro. Sorry. Anyways, now we'll get into the list, and let's start with number 5, which is a movie that I actually think I gave a better review than I think I should have, and that's The Running Man. I think I gave this movie a better review than I should have because this is a movie that on first viewing it's like a fun movie that's has polished action and stuff. But this is a movie that's just gotten worse in my mind. The reason I put it at the bottom of this list, I think this is one of those movies that when you told me this, all the stuff going into this, Edgar Wright doing this movie, I'm on board. 2025 version of The Running Man, I'm on board. Because the Running Man story is about a dystopian future and billionaires having control over everything and hyper violent society. These are themes that are really poignant right now. That's why people got it so into Squid Game and other shows and movies with this subject matter. But the fact that this movie did not stick with the culture tells you everything you need to know with this movie. Everything you need to know with it. Because this movie should be all over everywhere, and it just wasn't. And I think that's part of the reason this movie bombed. You can really see the flaws in it, and the more that I think about this movie, the more the movie breaks in my mind. It's not an awful movie. It's not like the worst of the worst uh, out of all the movies on this list. Like this is probably the most watchable one, and if you choose to watch it, you probably may like it more than me. So just take that for what it's will. But I just think the potential was so strong for this movie that I kind of feel very justified with putting this on my worst list. Number 4, I'm going to put all the Disney live action remakes and the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. So this will be like Snow White, Lilo and Stitch. I think there's another live action remake. I don't know. They pump these things out so much I can't even keep up. They're just on the list because like on one spot because why am I gonna waste 3 spots complaining about the same shit? I'm gonna tell you everything you need to know about why these are here over and over again. No, I'm just gonna put them all in one spot. These movies are unimaginative. They're boring. They're ugly. They're just pale in imitations of better movies. Yada yada yada. You heard it before. Hollywood keeps making them because people keep seeing them. Not in Snow White's case, I guess, but that's a whole different thing. So we don't really need to get into that. But it's on the list, even if I think that one I actually enjoyed more than How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch, shockingly. So you know. Number 3 is Smurfs. This was a great year for animated movies. I mean, I got like 3 animated movies that are all contenders for my best of the year list, and this movie is not on that list because it's fucking terrible. So I just don't like this movie. I don't like Smurfs. I think they're just such a weird franchise, and it's just weird that this movie got made in 2025 because this is like the first, like third Smurfs reboot in like in a decade. Like we've had 10 years of Smurf reboots with 3 of them in it. That's absurd. This movie was bad. Rihanna was horrible. Enough said. Number 2 is Hurry Up Tomorrow. Hurry Up Tomorrow is a movie that I think was just so failed on just like a multitude of fronts that it's just kind of insane that this movie even got made the way it did. This is a movie that I don't care. I don't know much about The Weeknd. I don't really listen to his music. So I kind of just saw this movie for the movie, and it's just so like. I think this guy's film career got instantly killed by this movie, and I think it's been hated on enough by certain people, so I don't want to like sit here and trash it too much. But holy shit, this movie was not good, and yeah. Quick honorable mention on this list before I get into number 1. Ella McKay is definitely on that list. I feel like that's another Running Man movie where if you told me the cast, the director, I was like, yes, please give me that. And movie was bad, so I did not. But it's not bad enough for me to put it on the list, I guess. Maybe realistically should have been on this list in the place of the Running Man, but whatever. Number 1 is The Unbreakable Boy, though. This is a movie that the moment I saw it back in, I think it was February or March when this shit came out, I said that's going to be on my worst of the year list. And here we are. It's on my worst of the year list. Zachary Levi is a terrible piece of shit human being who believes that if you didn't vote for Trump, you don't deserve to have a goddamn job. And he is making anti-woke movies. If that's not bad, but I want you to know all my hate for this movie is not about any of that. I just want to state that. It is just about the movie itself. But Zachary Levi's presence in this movie does not help it by any means. This is a movie that, as an autistic woman, I am very offended by it. Because it is sitting here giving me RFK Jr. talking points from an RFK Jr. supporter. So, and I bring up the support of RFK Jr. because when you read that about him in real life, you're like, wow, this movie makes a lot of sense, even though you know it's not intentional. So, but it's just kind of funny, and it's a whole mess of a movie. It's mean spirited. It's really bizarre. Why are you making a story about a kid with autism and giving the dad, a grown ass man in his 40s, an imaginary friend? It is really bizarre. It's mean spirited. It's sick, and it's trying to be a feel good movie. And the worst part is there are people who that this movie appeals to in an older demographic who won't see it for any of those things because they're probably just as ignorant as about autistic people, and that's why they support fucking people like RFK Jr. and shit like that. I don't want to bring politics in it too much, but this is kind of emblematic of a bigger problem with the movie and just, its consequences outside the movie. So, even though I don't feel like it plays too much into that, but it also kind of does at the same time. Worst movie of the year, by far. But yeah, I mean, honestly, all these movies, to be honest, other than the top 2, I sat through pretty easily, and I wasn't bothered by any of them too much. I mean, none of these movies are good. I probably never watch any of them again. But at the end of the day, that's fine. Because, if this is the worst of the year, like, man, the best of the year list, it's got to be pretty strong. And we'll talk about that next.